So what are the top 10 meta decks post Age of Overlord? As you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content, we're going to start off over here with Infernoble. Now, the only reason why I think Infernoble makes this list is strictly because of Angel's Ring. This new equip card adds so much to the deck. It's actually kind of insane, especially when Infernoble starts making these end boards and they bring down the Angel Wing and they're like, you know, you can't do anything to the equipped monster effectively now. It really does make people kind of look around and go, oh boy, great, like more boss monsters that become essentially, you know, you're gonna have to clean them up. It's the first spell negate that makes this card, you know, kind of into an insane monster at the end of the day. So that's what you're looking at right now. An equipped spell that they can beam out of the deck that will negate the first spell that or effect that you try to do. And that means no Dark Ruler no more, and that means that you're just going to get Negate Seed all the way around. Fantastic, isn't it? This is why I love this game. You gotta love very powerful negates. And then there's Floowandereeze. Honestly, I was debating on keeping Floowandereeze on this list and exchanging it with like Dragon Link, or for example, but I moved Dragon Link down to Rogue for the Rogue video. We'll talk about that when we get to the Rogue video and why. But right now, I left Floowandereeze on the list. M-Pen is still a card, man. Like, it's still going to be. You know, whether or not you want to shift this around and go, well, you know, M-Pen's more Rogue than Dragon Link. Sure, but the consistency that this deck has been having for the last month or so, it has just been cruise control all the way up through pre of Age of Overlord. And there's nothing changing with this deck. Not a thing. So that's a major thing you got to consider too, is as long as the deck's not changing, you know, and we're staying at the same pace that we've been going, yeah, absolutely, it's going to be the same story over and over again, so buckle up. Alright, I hope you're ready to lose to M-Pen and friends. It's not a fun time. And then we have Branded. Oh boy, I'm going to leave the illusion stuff in this as well here for this category. Be honest with you, at this point in time, the Branded Illusion deck has already got about 9,000 problems in and in itself. They do get a new support Baphomet, which does kind of help a little bit. It's not fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, but you know what? More options available for the deck, I think, will kind of make people a little bit happier to see what they can do. And those more options will typically make people go, okay, hey, you know, we can try this. Let's see what we can cook up at this stage. And it's amazing what only one new fusion card can actually bring to a deck. So that's something you got to consider too, is as we do get that new support rolling out here soon, more and more people are going to want to try out the Branded Illusion deck because, you know, the Baphomet changes so little, but yet so much, according to so many people. Next up is Vanquish Soul. Geo Long, yes. The Reveal Fire, search for, you know, literally anything. This card adds quite a dynamic to the deck, and I think it's a lot more than people are going to want to expect at this point in time. Vanquish Soul already came at second place during the last YCS, and it already, you know, made people kind of go, what's going on here? You're like, this pile of garbage isn't supposed to do anything. Well, here's the thing, all right? The piles of garbage do have consistent turnarounds sometimes. Maybe not all the time, but they will shock you at times that you might not really consider them. I think Vanquish Soul is definitely one of those decks that will make you go, oh, hey, you know, this can actually be a top tier competitor. You know, this is why I also put like Rika Sun Avalon down in Rogue. It's like the 11th best deck in the room, and I just think other decks can do things a little bit more consistently than it. Next up is Labyrinth. Arius, that is right. The turn 0 unfun keeper is coming, and do you know how many people right now are looking at Labyrinth and they're going, oh boy, I cannot wait for this? Well, here's the thing. The turn 0 card, in theory, is broken. But the thing is, it didn't really see a lot of play in the OCG when they started messing around with it. We'll have to wait and see if Arius makes a splash here in the TCG. I think that's one major thing that you gotta consider here is it's going to depend how the deck does kind of take off, all right? You've always got those very early plays that people are like, oh, this is so busted, and then it just kind of falls off as tech trends and things kind of develop. And it very much feels very similar in that situation, what we're kind of seeing with Arias. You know, it's very hyped up for the very early stages, or will Labyrinth just go back to being regular Labyrinth or Unchained Labyrinth? I don't know. Then we have Manadium. You get 2 cards, effectively, for Manadium's entire strategy. And Manadium players are sitting here, they're licking their lips, they're like, yeah, we're 90% more consistent now. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Triskeluta does change up a lot of the ways that the deck can try to fix its play lines. All right, I'm not going to discount that. But let's be honest here for a second. If you think that Triskeluta is going to be the god that saves the deck, I think it still makes it a consistent monster, yes. But if you're looking at this, you're like, oh, this is the new 2-0 deck. No. You've just upped your consistency a little bit, and that's fine. You do want ways to up consistency to make these decks, you know, have a chance to kind of do their thing. So, and that's what Manadium got. It was a consistency boost. And then we have, I'm still putting Purrely here. Purrely, we still have the full draw combo. I don't think people really seem to understand that. Like, the reason why people are so disgusted with how Purrely works is this deck just amasses this huge mass of, like, oh boy, draw 3, leap, draw 3, GG duelist, I just drew into a bunch of hand traps. You know, it turns this, you know, kind of irrelevant draw package into something massive, and that draw package is where you just start streamlining the snowball advantage, and that's where, you know, once again, the frustration comes out in this matchup. You know, that's why people do have to play the Herald, why people do have to play the Exceed Encore, because you have to deal with not only your opponent drawing 6 cards, you know, you're going to have to deal with a big cat on the side now as well. Yeah, it's not really a fun time. Trust me when I say that. Like, the matchup is not the craziest. And then we have Unchained over here. Unchained is still going to be a consistent top tier deck. There's not much that's going to change that. The way that Unchained plays, we don't have Maxi. You've already seen this, you know. The deck is essentially Ignorant Turbo at this point in time. And I think that's actually very, very interesting. You do have to consider the fact that power cards like what Unchained got with Yama for very easy revives and then setting up and then just ignorantly playing through anything the opponent might be trying to do, that is literally Easyville. And Konami proved to us that, you know, you give a deck 3 good cards, you can do anything. Or maybe Unchained cards were already just that good and they just needed that little boost to, you know, spin them around to something just a little bit better. It does very much feel like that at this stage. So, something majorly to consider out here. Unchained kind of coming in at what feels like the 3rd best deck in the room. Then we have Tearlaments. Oh, boy. Do you know how many people are like, yes, the Horus cards changed here? The only reason why I'm putting tier here is the fandom for this deck. Even though it's not breaking through, it's making crazy numbers. And those number representations, especially, you know, post the Horus stuff, is going to be crazy. Especially in the first early 2 weeks, so many people are going to be trying out so many ideas here. It's going to be crazy, all right? And that's the same thing you're going to be continuing to see here. It's because these cool, crazy new ideas make people excited and they want to test out these cards. And that's a good thing, honestly. All right, the consistent turnover of crazy new ideas, bringing excitement to these players, that's what you want to see. All right, and I think that's why Tier is going to be probably one of the scariest decks in the room. Especially via representation, you'll kind of have to overcome that. And then what feels like probably the craziest deck going into the room is Rescue Ace. And this is actually crazy because the Diabellstar stuff, really, it changes enough to make things, you know, more powerful for the deck. But if your opponent can stop the set 4 combo, this deck does have its weakness. And the reason why I said it feels like the best deck going into the room is because that Diabellstar consistency does help a lot. There are going to be a lot of people out here that are going to be trying this out. A lot more than I think people really understand. And once again, when you're looking at these numbers and these conversion turnovers, those numbers are what's going to really, really, really set a lot of things apart from a lot of other people. So what do you guys think about the top 10 meta decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.